Ladies and gentlemen, every day there's a war waging, unseen, but ever so real. It's not the kind of war you can see with your eyes or hear with your ears. No, this battle is spiritual, and it's being fought on the very grounds of your soul. But here's what you need to know. You've got an unbeatable weapon in your arsenal, and that weapon is prayer. What if I told you that the very things trying to break you, the plans of darkness against your life, could be destroyed? Just like that. You've been equipped with power beyond imagination, and when you tap into it, those demonic plans have no place in your life anymore. You've been brought to this moment for a reason. This isn't just another speech. This is a call to action, a call to step into your power, and when you do, you'll never look at prayer the same way again. By the end of this speech, you will know exactly how to fight, how to pray, and how to win every battle the enemy thought he could win against you. But you got to stay with me. Walk till the end, because you need to know this truth, and it's time to walk in your victory. Prayer is often misunderstood as a simple act of speaking words into the air or reciting a list of requests. But there's far more to prayer than meets the eye. Prayer is one of the most powerful tools you can possess, and it's a weapon that has the ability to shape your life and your future in ways that you can't even begin to comprehend. Too often, we think of prayer as just asking for things we want, hoping that the universe or a higher power will listen and grant our wishes. But true prayer goes beyond that. It's about accessing a divine connection, a spiritual force that enables you to fight battles you can't see, confront issues you can't touch, and overcome struggles that seem impossible to defeat. When you pray, you're not just speaking words into the air. You're tapping into something far greater than your own ability. You're aligning yourself with the universe, with the divine, with a force that is greater than anything the world can throw at you. Prayer is the bridge that connects you to a power that defies logic and reason. It's a direct line to strength, peace, and guidance when everything around you seems chaotic. And let me tell you this, prayer is not just a passive request. Prayer is a fight. It's an act of war. When you pray, you're stepping into a spiritual battlefield, not with weakness, but with an unshakable confidence that your voice has power. It's not about saying the right words or following a perfect formula. It's about the conviction behind those words. It's about speaking with purpose, knowing that your words are being heard and that they're powerful enough to change the course of events, the path of your life, and the future of those you love. You see, life is not just a series of random events. There's a bigger picture, a spiritual war that's being waged on your behalf, whether you're aware of it or not. There are forces, both seen and unseen, working to either push you forward or pull you back. These forces aren't always physical. They can be emotional, mental, or spiritual. And these forces are constantly trying to drag you down, to distract you from your purpose, to convince you that you don't have the strength or the ability to overcome the obstacles you face. But when you pray, you tap into a force that shifts the odds in your favor. When you pray, you're calling upon a divine power to help you fight the battles that are too great for you to face alone. You're not just passively waiting for things to change. You're actively taking control of your life and declaring that you will not be moved. You're claiming victory in advance, regardless of what's happening around you. You're declaring that you are no longer a victim of circumstances, but a warrior who is ready to stand tall and fight back. Prayer doesn't just change the world around you, it changes you. It's a process of transformation. The more you pray, the stronger you become. The more you lean on prayer, the more you begin to realize that you are capable of handling anything that comes your way. You are no longer swayed by the opinions of others or paralyzed by the fear of what's next. You've tapped into an inner strength, an inner peace that keeps you grounded no matter the storm you may be facing. And this strength isn't from you alone, It's from the power you've accessed through prayer. As you begin to make prayer a consistent part of your life, something powerful begins to happen. The more you pray, the more you realize that the things you once thought were impossible are now within your reach. Prayer doesn't just give you the strength to endure, it gives you the ability to conquer. When you're connected to this divine power, you realize that nothing is impossible. No mountain is too high, no challenge is too great, no situation is too hopeless. With prayer, you can change the trajectory of your life. This doesn't mean you won't face difficulties. Prayer doesn't mean that life becomes easy. It doesn't mean that the enemy will simply disappear or that obstacles won't come your way. In fact, when you begin to pray with intention and purpose, you may face even greater opposition. But that's where the real power of prayer comes in, because with every battle, with every struggle, prayer fortifies you. It strengthens your resolve. It deepens your faith. And it reminds you that you are not alone in this fight. When you pray, you are not just making a request, you are making a declaration. You are declaring that you will not be moved. You are declaring that you will fight with everything inside of you to overcome whatever stands in your way. You are declaring that nothing, absolutely nothing, will break your spirit. You are becoming the woman who doesn't just sit back and wait for life to happen. You are the woman who takes control, who fights for what she deserves, and who walks confidently in the power of prayer. As you fight with prayer, you begin to see the results. You begin to see the doors open, the breakthroughs happen, the victories unfold. It's not a matter of luck or coincidence. It's the result of your consistent, deliberate, and powerful prayers. You are not just fighting for today, you are setting the stage for tomorrow's victory. And the more you pray, the more you will see that your life is being transformed in ways you never imagined possible. Prayer is more than just words. It is a declaration of power, a statement that you will not back down in the face of adversity. It's a weapon that, when wielded with faith and conviction, will destroy every demonic plan set against you. The moment you realize this, you will never look at prayer the same way again. You will see it for what it truly is: the power to fight, to overcome, and to claim victory. There's a war being waged on your life. It's not always visible to the naked eye, but trust me, it's real. You might not see the forces working against you, but that doesn't mean they're not there. Demonic forces work behind the scenes, trying to plant doubt, fear, anxiety, and confusion in your mind. They try to sabotage your peace, disrupt your joy, and shake your confidence. And sometimes these forces use people, situations, and circumstances to get to you, to make you believe that you don't have what it takes to overcome. They want you to shrink, to cower, to think that you're powerless. But I'm here to tell you right now that you are far stronger than you realize. This is where the power of prayer comes in. Prayer is your weapon in this fight. It's the shield that protects you from the attacks of the enemy and the sword that you use to cut through the lies and negativity that are trying to hold you back. But prayer isn't just about asking for things. It's about claiming your victory over the enemy. It's about standing firm, knowing that the battle has already been won and that you have the power to destroy the plans that have been set against you. Prayer is a direct line to the divine, an access point to the supernatural power that can shift the atmosphere around you. Prayer isn't passive. It's active, forceful, and intentional. When you pray, you're not just hoping things will get better. You're speaking directly to the forces that are trying to attack you, and you're telling them that you will not be moved. You're declaring that you will not allow fear, doubt, or negativity to control your life. And let me tell you, there is nothing more powerful than a woman who knows how to pray with intention, with confidence, and with authority. It's important to understand that you don't have to fight this battle alone. You were never meant to carry the weight of the world on your shoulders. The enemy may try to convince you that you're all alone, but prayer is a reminder that you're not. You are connected to a higher power, a divine strength that is bigger and stronger than anything the enemy can throw at you. When you pray, you tap into that power. You are not fighting in your own strength, but in the strength of something far greater, and that changes everything. When you begin to pray with this kind of understanding, you start to shift your perspective. You stop seeing your struggles as obstacles that will defeat you, and you start seeing them as opportunities for growth. Every battle you face becomes a stepping stone towards something greater. Prayer doesn't just help you overcome challenges, it transforms your mindset, strengthens your faith, and prepares you for what's to come. The more you pray, the more you understand the authority you hold. Prayer isn't just about asking for what you want. It's about declaring what you will not tolerate. It's about drawing a line in the sand and saying, enough is enough. It's about taking control of your own life and refusing to allow the enemy to have any power over you. Prayer gives you that authority. It's like a warrior putting on her armor, getting ready to go into battle. She doesn't go into battle unprepared. She goes in with the confidence that she will win. The enemy doesn't always want you to fight. He wants you to be passive, to just accept the hardships, to let the lies sink in and pull you under. He wants you to feel small, insignificant, and incapable. He doesn't want you to know your power. But when you pray with conviction, you remind yourself of your worth. You remind yourself that you were made for greatness, that you are a conqueror, and that there is nothing that can stand in your way when you are aligned with the divine. And when you pray, you are not just fighting for yourself. You are fighting for your family, your community, and your future. Every prayer you utter is a declaration that you are not just going to let the enemy wreak havoc on your life and the lives of those you love. You are standing in the gap for those who can't fight for themselves. You are declaring that the plans of the enemy will be destroyed, that generational curses will be broken, and that the trajectory of your life will change. Don't underestimate the power of your prayers. Your prayers are not weak. Your prayers are not meaningless. When you pray with faith, you move mountains. When you pray with intention, you tear down strongholds. And when you pray with purpose, you destroy every demonic plan that has been set against you. Prayer isn't just about hoping for the best. It's about actively participating in the transformation of your life. You are not waiting for change to come. You are calling it into existence. And it's not just about what you do in the moment. Prayer has a ripple effect that extends far beyond what you see. The prayers you pray today will have an impact on your tomorrow. They will shape your future, protect your loved ones, and pave the way for success. Every time you pray, you are sowing seeds for a better tomorrow. You are declaring that no weapon formed against you will prosper, that you are protected, and that you are destined for. And I promise you, when you pray with that kind of belief, there is nothing that can stop you. I want you to remember this. You are not powerless. You are not defenseless. You are a warrior armed with the most powerful weapon you have, prayer. When you begin to fight with prayer, you are not just protecting yourself, you are destroying every plan that the enemy has for your life. You are stepping into your authority, reclaiming your peace, and taking control of your destiny. The enemy may try to come against you, but he has no power here. You are becoming the woman who fights with prayer and destroys demonic plans, and nothing can stand in your way. There's a mindset shift that has to happen when you decide to fight with prayer. Many women are raised in environments where they're taught to be passive, to wait for things to happen, or to think that their power is limited to certain circumstances. Society may tell you that the only way to win is to work harder, to hustle, or to do things the way everyone else does. But the truth is, real strength doesn't always come from grinding or competing in the world's way. It comes from within. When you realize the power you hold through prayer, that's when everything begins to change. Prayer is not just a recitation of words. It's a mindset, a belief system, and a declaration of who you are and whose you are. It's not about asking for small things. It's about declaring that you are a force to be reckoned with and nothing can stand in your way. It's about shifting from a place of doubt to a place of conviction, from a place of fear to a place of faith. Prayer helps you reframe your mindset. It takes you from seeing yourself as a victim of your circumstances to seeing yourself as an active participant in the battle for your life. You are no longer someone who is tossed around by every wave of doubt and confusion. You become someone who stands firm, rooted in the belief that your victory is already secured. In the moments when the enemy comes against you, when life seems to be falling apart, it's easy to feel overwhelmed and to question your ability to overcome. But that's exactly the moment when prayer becomes crucial. Prayer is your moment of clarity, your opportunity to realign your thoughts, your emotions, and your spirit with your purpose. When everything around you is chaotic, when it seems like everything is working against you, prayer is the anchor that keeps you grounded. It centers you. It reminds you that you are more than a conqueror, that you are equipped to handle whatever comes your way. This is why mindset is key, because what you believe will determine how you respond when adversity strikes. People are conditioned to believe that their challenges are insurmountable. The voices around you might tell you that you're not enough, that you'll never get ahead, or that you don't deserve success. But those are the voices of the enemy, voices that want to keep you trapped in fear and self-doubt. But when you fight with prayer, you silence those voices. You don't let negativity, shame, or fear control you. You take those thoughts captive and you replace them with the truth of who you are. Prayer helps you recalibrate, reminding you of your worth and your strength. It tells you that you are not just a victim in this world, you are a warrior who was made to win. This is not just a small shift. It's a profound transformation in how you view yourself and your circumstances. It's a shift from being passive to being active, from feeling defeated to feeling empowered. When you pray, you're not just asking for change, you're declaring change. You're taking ownership of your life and your destiny. You're refusing to accept defeat. And this change of mindset is what makes prayer so powerful. It is not a plea for mercy. It is a claim of victory. In this shift, you begin to see prayer as more than just a request. It becomes your weapon. The enemy wants you to believe that you are powerless, that you are a victim to circumstances, to people, or to your environment. But prayer changes that narrative. It transforms you from someone who's waiting for the world to change to someone who is actively changing the world around them. Prayer gives you the power to speak life into situations that seem hopeless, to call forth the strength you need when you're running on empty, and to declare that you are unstoppable. Prayer is not just about fighting your own battles. It's about fighting for the people you love. It's about standing in the gap for your family, your friends, your community, and even strangers who are suffering. When you pray, you become a vessel of transformation, not just for yourself, but for others. Your prayers have the power to break chains, to heal wounds, and to restore peace. This is the strength that prayer gives you, a mindset that is not only focused on your own victory, but also on the victory of those around you. As you fight with prayer, your perspective begins to shift even further. You no longer view challenges as obstacles. You see them as opportunities. Every trial becomes a stepping stone that leads you closer to your purpose. You begin to realize that the enemy isn't attacking you just to make your life harder. He's attacking you because he knows the potential you carry. He knows that when you tap into your full power, you will be a force to be reckoned with. So the battle is not just about you overcoming your circumstances, it's about you stepping into your God-given purpose and calling. The enemy fights you because he knows you have something valuable within you. And when you fight back with prayer, you show the enemy that no matter what he throws at you, you will not be moved. You are stronger than anything he can dish out. As you grow in your prayer life, you start to notice a change in how you approach life in general. You become more intentional. You become more focused. You stop wasting time on things that don't matter, and you start prioritizing what truly matters: your health, your relationships, your purpose, and your peace. Prayer doesn't just change your circumstances, it changes your priorities. It helps you focus on what you can control: your mindset, your faith, and your actions. You stop allowing the enemy to distract you with fear, stress, and chaos, and you start walking in your divine purpose with confidence. By shifting your mindset through prayer, you begin to unlock the doors to your breakthrough. You begin to see the world differently. Challenges no longer seem insurmountable. They become stepping stones. Prayer changes how you see yourself, how you see others, and how you see the world around you. It empowers you to rise above every attack and to become the woman who fights with prayer and destroys demonic plans. And when you make this shift, nothing can stand in your way. When you pray, you are not just talking to the air, you are engaging in a powerful, divine conversation. Prayer is where your strength lies, not just in the words you say, but in the authority behind them. To understand the power of prayer in this way is to understand that you're tapping into something greater than yourself, something that can change the course of your life and the lives of those around you. When you fight with prayer, you're not simply asking for help. You are demanding the enemy to step back, to leave, and to cease his attacks on your life. This is where you begin to understand that your prayers are not passive requests. They are declarations of victory. The Bible tells us that the power of life and death is in the tongue. Words have power, and when you speak with authority, when you pray with belief, you activate the force of that power. Every prayer you send out is a weapon, a tool that the enemy cannot ignore. You are speaking things into existence, and that is not something to take lightly. But to fully understand this, you must embrace the authority that prayer gives you. Women are made to feel like they are powerless in the face of adversity. You might feel like you're at the mercy of your circumstances or the actions of others. You might feel like you're just a small part of a larger picture, like your prayers won't make a difference, or that your situation is too complicated for a simple prayer to change. But the truth is, your prayers are powerful enough to break down walls, to break chains, and to destroy every demonic plan aimed at your life. When you fight with prayer, you embrace your role as a warrior in the spirit. You're not just fighting against flesh and blood, but against powers and principalities in the spiritual realm. The enemy doesn't play fair, and he doesn't fight fair. He will attack your peace, your joy, and your purpose, and he will try to make you believe that you're losing. But in reality, the battle is already won. The Bible tells us that greater is he that is in you than he that is in the world. You already have the victory, and through prayer, you lay claim to it. The authority behind prayer is not a concept to be taken lightly. When you pray with authority, you are making it clear that you are not backing down, that you will not be moved. The enemy wants you to feel like you're fighting an uphill battle, that your situation is hopeless, that there's no way out. But when you fight with prayer, you remind him that your God is bigger than any problem, bigger than any attack, and bigger than any fear. Your prayers are a declaration of that truth. You must understand that prayer is your weapon, not your last resort. Too often, we treat prayer like it's something we turn to only when everything else fails. But the reality is, prayer should be your first line of defense. It should be your go-to strategy, your battle cry. When you face opposition, the first thing you should do is pray. Why? Because prayer sets the tone for the battle. It equips you with the mindset you need to stand firm, to push back, and to claim victory. It is through prayer that you enter the battlefield with your armor on, ready to engage in the spiritual warfare that's happening around you. Prayer is also your means of communion with God, a direct line to the source of all power. When you connect with God through prayer, you are aligning yourself with the creator of the universe. You are inviting him into every situation, every decision, and every battle. And when God is involved, you cannot lose. This is why prayer is so powerful. It's not just about your words. It's about the presence of God that you invite into your circumstance. Through prayer, you tap into divine wisdom, and you're given the strength to act in ways that align with God's will. You begin to see solutions to problems that previously seemed insurmountable. You find doors opening where there seemed to be walls. You begin to move in a way that reflects your belief that God is in control, that he is guiding your steps, and that he is fighting on your behalf. Prayer empowers you to step into your role as a conqueror, as someone who has been given authority over the enemy. It's not about fighting with your own strength. It's about tapping into the unlimited power of God. Another powerful aspect of prayer is that it helps you resist temptation and stand firm in your faith. Life will always present challenges, and the enemy will always try to lead you astray. But prayer helps you stay grounded. It helps you resist the lies and the distractions, reminding you that your strength is not in your own ability to withstand, but in God's ability to keep you standing. When you pray, you invite divine protection and strength, and you position yourself to be led by the Spirit rather than by your own understanding. It's important to realize that when you fight with prayer, you are standing in the gap, not just for yourself, but for others. Prayer is not only about protecting your own peace and your own joy, it's about interceding for your family, your friends, your community, and even strangers. Every time you pray, you are lifting someone else up. Your prayers have the power to break chains, to release blessings, and to bring about change in ways that you may never even see. As you continue to fight with prayer, you begin to see the impact it has not only in the spiritual realm, but also in the physical realm. Prayer changes things. It changes you. It changes your mindset, your heart, and your approach to life. It empowers you to take action, to move with confidence, and to step into your purpose with boldness. Prayer is not just a passive activity. It is a powerful weapon that allows you to conquer what the enemy intended for harm and turn it into your greatest victory. When you fight with prayer, you are not fighting alone. You are not powerless. You are not defenseless. You are equipped with the greatest weapon available to you, the power of God. And when you tap into that power, you become unstoppable. You become the woman who fights with prayer, and you destroy every demonic plan that tries to come against you. Nothing can stand in your way when you pray with authority. When you start fighting with prayer, you begin to realize that you are no longer the same person. You are no longer weak, confused, or living in fear. The transformation is immediate and powerful because prayer opens up a channel of divine strength and wisdom that was always available but might not have been fully accessed. This is the power of transformation through prayer. By praying, you don't just ask for change in your circumstances, you ask for change in yourself. As you fight with prayer, you will begin to see how it impacts your mindset. The strength you receive isn't just physical or emotional, it's spiritual. When you truly embrace prayer as your weapon, your perspective begins to shift. You stop seeing yourself as a victim of your circumstances and start seeing yourself as someone with divine authority. You understand that the things that once seemed impossible are now within your grasp because you are now a woman who knows her worth and power in the spiritual realm. Your thoughts, your outlook, and even your reactions to the challenges in your life are transformed because you now operate from a place of confidence and strength that only comes from God. But it's not just about changing your mindset. The transformation through prayer begins to show up in your daily life. Prayer doesn't just influence your thoughts, it shapes your actions. When you are continually in conversation with God through prayer, you begin to make decisions that align with His will for your life. You stop making choices based on fear, anxiety, or insecurity. You start making choices based on the peace, wisdom, and guidance that comes from the Spirit. This transformation might not always be immediately visible to others, but it will be apparent in the way you walk, the way you speak, and the way you handle situations. As you grow stronger through prayer, you also grow bolder. This transformation is key to fighting against demonic plans. The enemy tries to feed you lies, fear, and confusion. But when you're walking in the power of prayer, you're equipped to stand firm in truth. You become more resolute in the face of adversity. The lies that once made you question your worth or your ability to overcome challenges no longer have the same impact. Instead, you recognize them for what they are, empty attempts to undermine your faith and your strength. Prayer helps you see through the veil of deception and brings you into the light of truth. When you fight with prayer, your spiritual transformation begins to manifest in tangible ways. The transformation you experience isn't only internal, it has a ripple effect on your relationships, your career, and your community. As you stand in your spiritual authority, people will begin to notice the change in you. The peace you now radiate will draw people to you, and they will begin to ask how you are able to remain calm and confident in the face of adversity. Your prayers not only change you, they become a source of inspiration and empowerment for those around you. You are not just fighting for yourself, you are fighting for the people in your life, for your family, for your community. Your transformation becomes a testimony to others that they too can fight with prayer and destroy the demonic plans over their lives. This transformation also works in the opposite direction. As you fight with prayer, you begin to recognize how much of your life has been influenced by the plans of the enemy. You will start to see how past struggles, confusion, and negative patterns were not just coincidences. They were part of a spiritual battle. When you engage in prayer, you uncover areas where the enemy has had a hold on your life. Whether it's a cycle of fear, self-doubt, or unhealthy relationships, prayer exposes these areas and gives you the power to break free from them. This is why prayer is such a vital tool in your spiritual transformation. It doesn't just protect you, it helps you heal and grow in ways that you never imagined possible. The more you engage in this battle, the more the enemy will attempt to stop you. But this is where prayer becomes even more critical. The more you grow spiritually, the more the enemy will try to undermine your progress. He will attempt to plant seeds of doubt and fear, trying to convince you that you're not equipped for the journey ahead. He will try to make you question your worth and your abilities. But prayer will continually renew your mind and keep you grounded in your identity as a powerful woman of faith. Prayer fortifies you against these attacks, providing the armor you need to stay focused on your goals and your purpose. As you pray and fight, you begin to understand that your spiritual transformation is not just about what happens in your life today, it's about preparing you for what lies ahead. Prayer is not just about winning small battles, it's about equipping you for the long-term war against the forces of darkness that will try to rise up against you. You begin to recognize that the battle isn't over just because you've overcome one challenge. The enemy is always trying to find new ways to steal your peace, your joy, and your purpose. But when you fight with prayer, you know that you are equipped for every battle, no matter what form it takes. This transformation also prepares you to become a spiritual warrior for others. As you fight with prayer, and overcome the plans of the enemy in your own life, you are becoming more attuned to the needs of others. You can now see when someone else is being attacked spiritually and know how to pray for them. This transformation allows you to become a source of strength, not just for yourself, but for the people around you. Your life becomes a beacon of hope, proof that the power of prayer can change everything, and that with prayer, nothing is impossible. Your spiritual transformation doesn't happen overnight. It is a continuous journey of growth, learning, and becoming more and more equipped to stand firm in the face of adversity. But through each battle, through each prayer, you are becoming the woman who fights with prayer, the woman who recognizes the authority God has given her, and the woman who can destroy every demonic plan that seeks to harm her. Prayer is the tool that will carry you through each transformation. And it is through prayer that you will see the complete restoration and victory God has planned for your life. When you learn to fight with prayer, you also learn to trust in the process. The process of spiritual warfare is not always easy. It's not always immediate, and it's not always clear. There will be moments when it feels like your prayers are not working, moments when it feels like you are talking to an empty room, and moments when the enemy will try to convince you that you're not getting through. But in those moments, it's important to understand that prayer is not just about instant results. It's about consistency, faith, and persistence. Fighting with prayer means learning to wait and trust that the battle is being fought on your behalf, even when you can't see the immediate effects. This is the place where many people give up, when they don't see results right away, when they feel like they've been praying for so long and nothing has changed. But this is also where true strength is built. Prayer teaches you to trust God's timing and His will, which often doesn't align with your immediate desires or understanding. The fight is not always a quick fix, it's a journey, and through it you learn endurance, patience, and perseverance. In the midst of this journey, you must understand that prayer is your weapon of choice in spiritual warfare. When you pray, you activate a force far greater than anything in this world. Prayer is not about convincing God to act on your behalf. It's about aligning yourself with His will and standing firm in your faith. The enemy may throw distractions, temptations, and obstacles in your path. But when you pray, you are actively engaging with the power of God to destroy those demonic plans and forces working against you. One of the greatest lessons in this spiritual battle is the understanding that prayer changes things not only in the spiritual realm, but also in the natural realm. The fight you are engaged in is not just one of emotional or mental battles, but it affects every part of your life. When you fight with prayer, your life begins to shift in ways you never thought possible. This transformation goes beyond just a change in mindset. It impacts your relationships, your career, and your health. Prayer has the power to break chains of addiction, depression, and anxiety. It has the power to open doors that were once closed to you. Prayer doesn't just change your circumstances, it changes you from the inside out. And through that change, everything around you begins to shift. As you continue to fight with prayer, you become more aware of the spiritual dynamics at play. You begin to see things that you might have missed before. You recognize the subtle ways in which the enemy tries to attack your peace, your relationships, and your progress. You will also see how prayer opens your spiritual eyes to discern these attacks before they happen. The enemy is not always obvious in his attacks. He may try to infiltrate your mind with doubt, your heart with bitterness, or your life with distractions. But as you grow in prayer, you will develop spiritual discernment to recognize these attacks early, giving you the power to counter them before they have a chance to take root. Prayer also teaches you to fight not just for yourself, but for others as well. As you grow stronger in your own spiritual life, you begin to understand that the fight is bigger than just you. The demonic forces at work in your life are not just trying to take you down. They are trying to take down your family, your friends, and even your community. As you stand firm in prayer, you become a warrior for others. You will begin to intercede on behalf of those who are struggling, lifting them up in prayer and fighting against the plans of the enemy on their behalf. Your prayer life becomes not just a means of personal protection, but a means of collective protection. In addition to fighting for others, fighting with prayer also requires you to stand firm on the promises of God. There will be times when everything around you looks like it's falling apart. Your circumstances may seem bleak, and the enemy may try to convince you that God has abandoned you or that his promises are not true. But in those moments, prayer is what allows you to hold on to the truth that God's word is always true, even when you can't see the results right away. Fighting with prayer means refusing to back down or give in to the lies of the enemy. It means standing firm on the truth of who you are and what God has promised you. This process of fighting with prayer also demands a level of humility. You have to understand that while you may be doing the fighting, it is ultimately God who is in control of the outcome. Prayer is not about you being in charge. It's about submitting to God's will and trusting that He knows what is best for you. This is a humbling experience because you realize that you don't have all the answers, you don't have all the solutions, but God does. When you fight with prayer, you surrender your control to Him, knowing that His plans for you are always good, even when they don't look like what you expected. Through this process, you will also experience deep personal growth. Fighting with prayer pushes you to confront areas of your life where you may have been spiritually complacent. It challenges your faith and tests your commitment to trusting God even when things are hard. But this process of growth is what builds you into a stronger and more resilient woman. You begin to see that the trials and the battles are not just obstacles, they are opportunities for growth. Each time you fight with prayer, you become stronger, wiser, and more equipped to handle the challenges that lie ahead. When you learn to fight with prayer, you come to understand that it's not about a single battle or victory. It's about an ongoing journey of spiritual growth and victory. Each battle you face strengthens your faith, and each prayer you offer is another step in becoming the woman who fights with prayer and destroys the demonic plans against her life. Your faith grows as you see the power of prayer working in your life, and you realize that with prayer, there is nothing that can defeat you. Prayer equips you, not just for the battles you are facing now, but for every challenge that lies ahead. Through prayer, you tap into the ultimate power, the power of God, and you become unstoppable. Conclusion. The power of prayer is not just a tool, but a force that shapes and transforms you into the woman you are destined to be. You are becoming the woman who fights with prayer, not just for your own peace, but for the peace of those around you, for the freedom from spiritual chains, and for the destruction of demonic plans that seek to undermine your purpose. Prayer is not a passive act. It's an active, intentional fight, a fight that strengthens you, molds you, and draws you closer to the God who is always in control. Understand that the journey won't always be easy. There will be moments of doubt, frustration, and exhaustion, but those are the moments when prayer becomes your anchor. It's in those moments when you feel the furthest from victory that prayer will remind you that you are already more than a conqueror. Prayer doesn't promise an easy path, but it does promise victory through persistence, through faith, and through trust in God's timing. The enemy may seem powerful, but prayer connects you to a power far greater than anything this world can throw at you. You have within you a strength that no force can break, because when you fight with prayer, you're not fighting alone. You're fighting with God, with His power, and with the unshakable truth that you were created for a purpose. So stand firm in your faith. Keep praying, keep fighting, and keep believing that no weapon formed against you will prosper. The woman you are becoming is a woman who will not be moved, a woman whose prayers will break strongholds, destroy plans, and bring light into every dark corner of your life. The battle is fierce, but your weapon is mighty. Prayer is your sword, and victory is your destiny. Keep fighting, because with prayer, you are unstoppable.